I should mention you guys are coming back to Louisville. We're always excited to have you here. You have done some of my all-time favorite shows I've ever seen at Headliners. So,
Oh wow, thanks.
yeah, dude, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's been a while since we've been to town.
been a while since you've done anything as Deer Tick. So, and I don't know how important that is to part of the story. I know it's always brought up anytime a band takes more than their routine 2 years, but I know a lot of life is lived in 4 years, and yours certainly. I mean, fatherhood and all that stuff. Does that part of your life play a big part in the story of this album?
Yeah, I'd say so, because right in the middle of it was our 10-year anniversary show, or shows. They were all in New York. There was like 6 of them. And after that, we had nothing booked. We didn't have any more shows on the calendar. And that was the first time that had ever happened, And it was right before my daughter was born. And yeah, I can't say that I was all that eager to go back to doing music for a while, But then we started doing a couple of gigs here and there, and every year we would do the Newport Folk Festival. And then, we slowly started to, record some demos and this and that. And then all of a sudden we're in the middle of making 2 records, and we're all excited to make a little comeback or whatever. But yeah, we kind of accidentally on hiatus,
Accidental. Yeah, so I don't get the sense like that was scary at all for you not to have anything on the calendar and not exactly know what comes next. I mean, it sounds like that's exactly what you wanted.
It was a little. I think it made me kind of anxious in some ways, but it's weird. It's a weird feeling. I can't really compare it to anything else. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, did the 2 albums happen just because of the amount of songs, or did you want to come out with some kind of bigger plan statement? I don't know what the word is there.
I think the concept for the record came first, based on a handful of songs that I had written. I just didn't think they would really fit together on the same record. And, in the past, we had maybe confused quite a few people along the way as to what band we really are. And I don't know, the answer is we're both of those bands,
Yeah.
We can be a quiet folk band, and we can be a big rock band. And I thought it would be a fun experiment to kind of put both sides of ourselves up on display, and exclusively,
Yeah, but it's not a double album. Like, you guys seem to make a point of drawing the line in the sand there.
Well, I think it kind of works. It could have worked as a double album, but because it works as 2 separate records, I like to make a point that it's 2 separate records,
Yeah.
We could have probably done the easier thing and just packaged them together and sold them as one. But
Deer Tick doesn't do the easy thing.
Well, not all the time. No.
I will say, what caught me right from the beginning, because, first we heard the singles and the teaser tracks that were out there with It's a Whale and Sea of Clouds and Jumpstarting, which, are songs that I have not been able to stop listening to. But it's more than just acoustic and electric or soft versus loud, because there's a lot of cool style changes on here too. And I noticed that right away with Card House, like that. That's more than just you doing a soft song. I don't even know what kind of style of music you call that, but it's something entirely different.
Yeah, somebody described it. They're like, it's like a bolero. And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. Since I married a piano player, I've been playing a lot more piano, because now there's just a big grand piano in the house, and just getting to spend that much time with what was just kind of like a familiar instrument, but now I've gotten really well acquainted with it. It kind of helped me grow my songwriting a little bit, at least the musical part of it. And also, I've gotten totally sick of standard tuning guitar, so I've set up a few of my guitars in open tunings, and that's been a real blast, and it's helped me write a little differently and just use some more interesting chords, etc.
It's always dangerous when a band puts out that many songs at once, because more times than not, much of it becomes filler. and thank God that's not the case here.
I'm very proud of that achievement.
Yeah.
I think keeping it to 10 songs on each record too was a good call.
Right. Yeah, you could have went really further overboard on that.
Yeah, I think if we really tried to cram as many songs as possible on the 2 albums, there probably would have been a lot of filler. But one thing a lot of my favorite records have in common is that they're not really that long.
Right.
The track listing of a lot of classic albums, and it's 9, 10, 11 songs. So I think 20 songs after a fairly long break is just the right amount.
Yeah, it makes up for it, like you never left, the time never happened. I'll say jokingly, if marrying a piano player added that to your repertoire, maybe I'm surprised that having a kid hasn't added, a more Disney-esque quality to your.
Well, she likes some pretty cool music, so. She a few standard nursery rhymes, sure, but her favorite stuff at the moment is she's crazy about Bill Withers, and she loves the Pogues. And now I showed her. I was a big California Raisins nut when I was a kid, so I bought the claymation movie on DVD, and she loves that now. So she's into all this old R&B music now and Motown. So she's a pretty cool kid.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of the Pogues. I've got a 9-year-old, and I feel really lucky that he gravitated toward the Who really early on, and that's
cool.
Yeah, it's sort of become his foundation. But he, I still get stuck with, because he likes Disney, like the TV show movies, and so there's just all of that generic power pop. But I figure I'll deal with that as long as he also has this other side of things. So. As far as the lyrics on here, I feel like we're probably on the same side on everything, especially as I kind of keep track of you guys on social media and everything. But lyrically, are you faced with the same thing that most artists are faced with these days of trying to capture your feelings about what's happening out there in the era that we're in now and try to figure out how to filter that through?
A little bit of that is definitely present on these records. I've never really written any political anthems or anything like that. I'm not a folk singer in the purest sense of the word. But yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, a lot of that anger and frustration shows up on songs like It's a Whale or Sloppy, where it just feels good to scream. And I don't know, if you pick up a newspaper, you probably know what I'm screaming about,
And with these live shows, you're doing 2 sets a night, and it's just it's the quiet set and the loud set, but that it's not that you're playing the albums in full. I mean, you're still playing some of the old songs too, or not?
Oh yeah, no, it'll be an acoustic set, and we'll do a lot of songs from Volume 1 and stuff, but we'll have acoustic arrangements of older songs, and like the acoustic tour that we went on last year. And then we'll take a short break and then come back out and play the louder, and then send you home with your ears ringing.
The way you've always done. And I guess, did I read it right? There's you guys have booked comedy to open the whole thing?
Yeah, there's a few comedians coming out with us on different legs of the tour. We haven't announced anybody yet, but it should be a good time. It should feel like a real, honest to goodness night of entertainment.
I'm looking forward to it. I love these records. I always love what you guys have done. Not to hit an obvious compliment here, but the Black Dirt Sessions is still one of my favorite albums of all time. On top of all that,
Cool.
Just so
Thank
happy
you
guys
very
are what you were always doing. October 17th at Headliners in Louisville. That's when we'll see you over here. And thanks for talking with me, John.
Looking forward to it. All right, thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.
All right, bye.